Good morning. So right now I'm at the hotel. It's really nice. We're taking a tour. It's like an 11-hour tour all around the Banff areas like Louise, Lake Moraine, and other places. I'm really excited. And then we're gonna just get dropped off at Banff Caribou Lodge. Oh, look at those cute statues. After spending one night in Calgary, we planned a glorious trip to the beautiful lakes, Emerald Lake, Lake Louise, and Lake Moraine. Based on the tour description from Get Your Guide, the tour picked up people from Calgary, Banff, and Canmore. So I had the brilliant idea that I would have them pick us up in Calgary and drop us off in Banff. And that way we would get a ride to Banff, where we plan to spend 2 nights. And also get all the lakes out of the way so that we could take it easy in Banff the next day. I didn't see the part of the tour description where they said that you have to be dropped off at the same place where you got picked up. But I did confirm with the company ahead of time that they could do that. So I booked our hotel specifically where the bus picked us up in Calgary and the hotel where the bus would drop people off in Banff. The tour guide was very nice and did accommodate our request, even though he didn't need to pick up anyone else or drop anyone else in Banff. But we gave him a nice big tip for helping us out. Had he brought us back to Calgary, we would have been in trouble and lost a lot of money. So as we got on the bus, somehow the driver put a whole bunch of notes and information about us, all the passengers. And as the bus began to drive, suddenly a voice came on the radio that started naming us all passengers by name and saying something about us. Like, Jana, you're from Russia, or Barb, you're sitting there with a bottle with stickers on it.
This journey is the feast, and you, my friends, you are the family gathered at the table.
And it was fun at first. We all laughed about it together on the bus. Half an hour later, I wished to take an axe to that program. This was an AI program that just kept putting in dumb filler information. I think we all found it annoying in the end. I mean, he did get it right that as someone with Russian background, I did like rye bread and dark chocolate. But then he kept saying, Jana, privet, Jana, privet, Jana, meaning hello, Jana in Russian. But he said it wrong. It's privet. That means hello in Russian. But it's not privet like pivot, it's privet. And then he would talk about some landmarks, like, oh, Jana, you know, in Russia has these lakes, but here we have these amazing lakes that go higher, or something to that effect that AI likes to fill in. Every time that I just wanted to sit and enjoy the ride with a bit of quiet, maybe read a book, the AI would go on and talk some dumb nonsense, or some loud music would come on. For me, it was annoying. We did enjoy when the bus driver himself talked and gave us some information, and it would have been fine if the recording would talk and just give us some, a couple of interesting stories and not so much filler nonsense like AI likes to do. Just some information would be enough. The other thing that I didn't enjoy about the tour was the bus itself. The other thing that I didn't enjoy about the tour was the bus itself. It wasn't a large tour bus with a giant scenic windows, but a smaller one. And there was very little view from the front aisle seat. The back seats had the windows down the length of the bus, but the front aisle seat had very little. And I had to strain my neck to look out the window because the bus itself had like this big bulkhead in the front, so you could not see anything out of the front. But aside from that, the lakes were just glorious. I have visited them before, but 20 years later seemed like the perfect time to marvel at them again alongside my adult children. And I really enjoyed enjoying our time. It was just magical. We first stopped at the Emerald Lake, which actually happened to be in British Columbia. We all right away had to go to the washrooms. At every stop we had a washroom, and pretty much at every stop I had to go. Most washrooms at these places were basically a hole in the ground with a seat over it. They were pretty disgusting, but we had to deal with it. That's the price of being in nature, I guess. The lake, the Emerald Lake, was simply glorious, surrounded by mountains, kayakers in the water. We hiked a bit around the lake, and then it was time to head back to the bus. The second lake was Lake Louise, but before that, we stopped for lunch at a plaza nearby. All the restaurants were very busy. We were not the only bus there. So I picked up some snacks at the grocery store. I tried to go to the washroom at the plaza, but there were just very few washrooms and they were all busy. But Lake Louise actually had plenty of washrooms, and they were normal washrooms that you find at any airport or a mall or a hotel, not just a hole in the ground. And speaking of hotels, of course, Lake Louise is famous for its Chateau Lake Louise Hotel. I think that at the height of the season, the rooms are over $1,200 a night. So the bus driver gave us 1 hour to explore and told us that we could either see it from the side of the Chateau Lake Louise or hike the side of the lake and see the view of the chateau from across the lake. My kids opted for the hike and strongly convinced me not to go, which was a very smart decision. I decided to listen to them, and I went for the Lake Louise washrooms and a $12 latte from the hotel. And I cannot say that it wasn't absolutely wonderful to sit there with my latte and enjoy the view. My kids came back exhausted from the hike. I mean, everybody was just like completely wiped. So I'm glad I didn't go. Next, we then stopped in Johnston Canyon, and here I could not avoid the hike. It was a long hike, and for me, it was brutal, but that just showed me how out of shape I was, because I saw people much older than me, like no problem, like taking a walk. It was so hard for me, I even had to throw away a small ice cream that I just bought because I felt like it was really weighing me down. I vowed that moment that I will do all I can to get into shape. And the last stop was Lake Moraine. I think that out of the 3 lakes that we saw that day, that must be my favorite. I just love it. It has these cascading ridges on the mountain, and the color, it's absolutely beautiful. Again, we got about an hour. Some people hiked some areas around the lake. I went to visit the gift shop, and then afterwards we got back on the bus, and then the bus dropped us off at Caribou Lodge in Banff. Overall, it was a wonderful trip. We got in and got into our room and relaxed. Once I dropped off my stuff, I went to check out the area. Banff is a beautiful little town. It has coffee shops, there's restaurants in almost every hotel on the main street, and it is, of course, surrounded by several very huge mountains. That evening, we ended up going to Chili's, just a couple of hotels down, and finally, I went to bed. Unfortunately, my kids had to share the queen bed, but like I said, for over $500 a night, I could not justify getting a second room. But young kids in their 20s often travel with friends and share beds, so I figured they will be okay. The hotel was very nice, but I think it didn't have air conditioning. There was a fan in the room, which we didn't use, but my kids said that they were hot. And that was pretty much it for our second day of the trip. It was a great day. I think my kids were not only awed by beauty of the Rockies and amazing lakes, but also they really loved the hiking portion. And this tour gave us plenty of time to hike, which of course was optional. All the hikes were optional. I just couldn't say no to my kids when it came to Johnston Canyon. And I'm glad I did, because I think that really took me on the road to start getting in shape. And by the way, after I'm done with this, I'm gonna go and walk the stairs. I still managed to get 15,000 steps in that day. And that's including just that hike in Johnston Canyon and also walking from the bus to the lakes. And then I also took a walk in Banff in the evening. That's pretty much it. I gave the tour 5 stars despite some drawbacks that I talked about in the beginning. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you. Hopefully you'll watch the next part, which was a day in Banff of eating and shopping. All right, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.